The first question basically is just what I asked you earlier. Why is this important to you, and kind of how did you find it? And I know that you're the co-founder.
Mhm.
Kind of how did this whole thing start, basically, and how did you get involved?
Because every year it's anticipated that an area the size of the UK is lost to deforestation. And when I read that fact, it really struck a chord with me because trees, they're not just pretty; they're habitats for wildlife. They store carbon. They clean the air we breathe. The roots filter through water, so they can have a massive effect on rivers and just stopping the amount of water further down a river that could cause it flooding. Like we started the Greener Earth Project because we were watching about the wildfires in Australia,
Oh yeah, of
seeing
course.
the massive destruction that it caused, and it was such a huge area. Like it's a bit sort of you
Yeah,
can't
it
really
was horrific.
comprehend it in the UK
Mm.
having such a massive area being lost just to fire, and we really just wanted to do something about it. And rather than just sort of give money, we wanted to, because that just seemed a bit disingenuous to
Mm.
us. We can give money, but we wanted to make an actual change. Um, so we started looking for tree planting charities, and there weren't any charities based in the UK that did planting around the world.
Mm.
Um, and sort of there were companies that planted around the world, but they were doing it for a profit, and it sort of seemed a bit didn't quite sit right with us
Yeah.
that the companies doing something so important, but they were making a profit out of it, and this seemed bigger than making money. It's for all. It's in the interest of everyone that we have enough trees, that our air is clean to breathe, that our habitat, our wildlife have a habitat to
Mm.
live in, that we've got enough trees to stop water, flowing and drowning the cities. And so, yeah, we started the Green Earth Project because we wanted to make an actual, like, a tangible change.
Mm. What is the Greener Earth Project, and why is it important?
Okay. So the Green Earth Project is a charity that plants trees. That's the basic thing that we do. But the money that we raise not only plants the tree, but we work with community groups based in countries all around the world. So the money that we raise not only plants the tree, but in Africa, the money also pays a fair wage to the people planting the trees. And also on all of our sites, the part of the money also protects the site after we leave. So after we've left, it makes sure that the tree is prosperous and it grows from a sapling into a big tree and can, do the best that it can to help the environment. We work with, we get donations not only from individuals, but we work with businesses who want to make a change. So these can be big businesses. They can also be small businesses who just want to do as much as they can to help the environment.
Just kind of bouncing off that kind of. I remember at the event. I'm just curious. Did you make any contacts there? Was it any at all useful? I think I remember someone coming over, but I wasn't sure if that's led to anything at all, or that kind of if you've kind of got anything from that so far.
Yeah, so I had a discussion with another charity that was based there just about what we could do to work together. So that was useful. And I went to an event a couple of weeks ago at Durham University, and to try and get some more volunteers. And sadly, we didn't get any there. But I can sympathise that you've got
A
enough
lot
on
to
your
do.
plate. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, hopefully at some point you'll be able to get some more, and hopefully maybe this will help with that all this stuff we're doing.
yeah.
Fingers
Right.
crossed. Is what is your main goal, and is there like an end point for you? Is there kind of an end in sight? Like, is there like the final, like this when this has happened, we've done it, or is this joking something that maybe isn't necessarily having an end or
Our goal at the moment is to reach 1 million trees. So we set
mm,
ourselves the goal in 2020 when we started the charity that we were going to plant 1 million trees in 5 years. We've got to over 37,000 in just over a year and a bit. So I think, we're definitely making strides towards that. And we set, we set 1 million because it seemed like a tangible sort of goal. It was something to work towards, and it seemed sort of realistic. I think when we reach that 1 million, I think it will then be, doubling it to 2 million and so on. And we also, once we've reached that 1 million, we want to not only plant trees, but we want to help protect areas of trees that are already there. So, it's all well and good planting trees, but also, we want to help preserve like areas of the rainforest to stop people cutting them down, because that, cutting down trees also has a massive effect on everything. The carbon that's been stored in the ground then gets released back up into the air, and you see pictures on the news of a lone chimpanzee in a tree because trying to fight off a bulldozer because all of the trees around it are being torn down. And we just, we want to help that part of it as well. So not just plant trees, but help protect areas of rainforest, of woodland, of, from being destroyed, because the two sit quite closely together.
God, that's horrific about the chimpanzee. That's so sad.
Yeah, it's really
awful.
sad. Yeah,
that's the thing. Is that so many people, I think, also sometimes forget is it's not all these forests that it's like, we're losing some trees, we're losing oxygen, but it's the amount of life and all the habitats that get destroyed, and just including human life as well. People in the Amazon and stuff. It's horrific, like with the fires and things.
And there's some of the other areas where we've been working. So we've been planting trees in Mozambique, and that's sort of in areas that was. So Mozambique was hit by a massive hurricane at the beginning of 2019, and so some of the areas that we've been working with there have been to restore those trees that were ripped out along the coastline to try and restore that area as well.
What do you think people should be most aware of right now? Like what you think is probably most troubling to you in the current climate today? And is there, do you think, a ways people should help, or how can people get involved?
The most important thing, in my opinion, in terms of climate change that people aren't aware of is the impact of sort of digital living. So, we all use email, we all use Facebook, we use Netflix, for example. And very few people are aware of the impact that has on the environment. So having all these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of emails saved up on your email server that you're not ever going to read again has a massive impact on the environment, because the companies who manage these servers have to buy more servers to, so that they've got a place to store it all. So all of the cloud living, has, you think of it being up in the sky, not doing anything, but, it sits somewhere. Might not be on your computer, but it sits somewhere. And, the more stuff we store digitally, and the more stuff we watch digitally, and the more we have to power that, the bigger the impact on the environment is, because companies can have to buy these servers to support this. And, the servers, they need air conditioning. They require a massive amount of power just to run them. And like Microsoft, for example, have started storing them under the sea. And so up in the North Sea, they dropped a container full of servers with the cable going back to the mainland. It means that they have to, it means they don't have to put air conditioning to the servers, because the sea around it keeps it cool. But obviously those servers in there are going to heat up the sea around them. So that's sort of a temporary solution. But, people, I'm guilty of it. I've got hundreds of emails that I've not even read, but, you need to just...
I was going to say the same. Yeah. But I had no clue. That's incredible.
It's something you don't ever think about. You just, because you can't really physically see it, you don't really ever think about the impact that it might be having. So yeah, just sort of having an awareness of what that digital lifestyle can do to the environment is quite a big thing. Because you can you can reduce the amount of meat you've eaten. Like, that's quite a good thing as well. Reducing the amount of meat you eat, clothes drying, you're washing and only washing it at 30 degrees. It's all well and good doing that. But then also, this massive contribution that you're doing towards climate change without realizing the harm that you're doing, it's quite a big thing that people aren't aware of. Like, for example, with like these kinds of, like Zoom meetings, for example, not having your camera on, is a lot better for the environment than having your camera on, because the amount of sort of bandwidth that's required for you to be able to see me is massive. And people, Teams meetings, Zoom meetings are a massive part of life now. And, we've implemented it so easily, and people don't really ever think about, what's this doing in the background?
If you could send out a message to the world, what would it be? Like, what would you say? Like, if you something that everybody could hear and try and get through to, like, what would you say that is?
The main thing that I always try to get across to people is it's not about being perfect, trying to save the world. So, you can only recycle as best you can a lot of the time. Wash your clothes at 30 degrees a lot, a certain amount of time. Like, you can only air dry them a certain amount of time. Like, sometimes you need to bring them inside to do it. But, if we all did a little bit and didn't do it perfectly, that would be better than one person on their own trying to be perfect. Yeah, if we all did a little bit, it would be better than one person doing it perfectly. So, we just all need to have this collective action to just changing one thing that you do would have a massive impact on the environment. And, that could be not eating meat every day of the week and just having like 2-3 meat-free days. It could be recycling more. A little change that you could do would have a massive impact.